Welcome, everyone, on behalf of the Princeton University Office of Religious Life, Hindu Life program. It's my honor and delight to host this evening's presentation and exploration of a really fascinating topic, something that's often spoken about, but perhaps, if I may say, not often understood very well, and that is the concept of chakras. So we're going to look at that. So I will go ahead and just get us started in a moment. And just so everyone knows, we are recording this and we can make that recording available. We are also trying something a little bit new here, and we are live streaming via YouTube. So if you look up the Princeton University Hindu Life program YouTube channel, we will be live streaming this event, and we hope going forward to live stream many more events like this one. I'm going to turn it over to our guest speaker in just a moment, but let me say a few words about him because he really is both a remarkable individual as well as someone who is quite close to home for many of us in the Princeton and Plainsboro area. So we're delighted this evening to be hosting Dr. Rajan Narayanaswamy. Dr. Narayanaswamy is a certified yoga teacher who has been teaching yoga and meditation for over 2 decades now. He lived in a very wonderful holy city that some of us may be familiar with, known as Varanasi or Benares. And he lived there for over 21 years. And living there is really what sparked his interest in yoga and related philosophies. He completed his PhD in physics in Varanasi. So many people go to Varanasi for studying meditation and yoga, but in this case, Dr. Narayanaswamy actually studied physics in Varanasi, and he completed his PhD there. And because of this background, he tends to bring a very scientific, very clear, practical approach to teaching yoga and meditation, which of course is quite needed. His formal connection with yoga and meditation started when he met his guru, Dr. V.S. Rao, at the High-Tech Yoga Institute in Lowell, Massachusetts in 1994. And Rajanji studied yoga with him for several years there. In 2001, he started teaching yoga and meditation classes through the Chinmaya Mission in nearby Cranberry, New Jersey, which is a renowned Vedantic institution under the inspiration of Swami Chinmayananda. Here, Rajanji had the immense privilege of learning Vedanta from Swami Shantanandji, who is a widely known and learned teacher of Vedanta. In 2007, he started a yoga and meditation class in the township of Plainsboro, and this program continues to this day, and it's become very popular, now having over 30 people attending on a regular basis. And in recognition of his service to the township and for being such a pillar of service and of learning and community here in Plainsboro, Dr. Narayanaswamy was awarded the Martin Luther King Lifetime Achievement Award in 2016 by the Human Relations Council of Plainsboro, New Jersey. So such an honor to have him with us. And I know everyone's muted out, but again, I would ask from the core of your heart, and if you're able to in your homes, we can make a little bit of noise and give a very warm Princeton University welcome to Rajan Narayanaswamy. So I'm going to mute myself out and hand the mic over to Rajanji, as it were. And so Rajanji, please take us away.
I'll just start with the prayer. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Okay, I would like to start off by thanking Sri Vineet Chander for giving me this opportunity and also for running this beautiful program, which every week we enjoy and the community enjoys. And the timing of this program is beautiful for this time that we are going through, where people are so anxious and full of fear. Once in 100-year event requires this kind of a program, and I'm so grateful to him for having this program. Thank you very much. I would just like to start off by saying that Vineet said that I have training in physics, so I like to take a scientific approach to everything. And the two pillars of scientific approaches is be open to everything, firstly. And the second thing is, my professor used to say, experiment is supreme in physics, in science. Once an experiment shows that something happens, it's the job of the theory to prove it instead of fighting against it. And whatever I'm going to present to you today has ample proof in the practical sense. And for you to realize this truth, the only way is for you to practice it. So that is my only suggestion here from a scientific point of view, is the topic of chakras generally is a very esoteric topic, and people think that this is some big mumbo jumbo kind of thing, but there is a very simple side to it, which is the thing I'm going to try and expose in my talk today. Okay. So let me start off with a presentation. I'm going to share my screen. Can all of you hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay. Okay, somehow it's not getting into. Just give me a second. Okay, just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, very good. Okay, I'm going to start. Okay, so introduction to chakras and their real meaning. There is my email address there. In case you have any question later on, you can always send it, or you can always find me on the internet just by typing my name and yoga as a keyword. You'll generally find some contact. So my first slide I want to show you is a quote from Swami Chinmayananda. in which he says, more important than what is behind you and what is ahead of you is what is in you. Just one second. And he says, seek it, and centered in it, act and live. And to really understand chakras and a lot of the subtle aspects of yoga and spirituality, we need to open ourselves up to the fact that that beyond the physical body, we also have two more bodies called the Sukshma Sharira, one of them, and the third body is the causal body. And this is not, I'm not saying this, these are very ancient. The three bodies are mentioned in the book Tattva Bodha. I have a reference section at the end, and I will be sharing this presentation with Vineet, and all of you can have this. So you don't have to note down anything. The book Tattva Bodha, written by Adi Shankaracharya, several centuries ago, 1200 years ago, mentions Sharira Trayam, or the three bodies. The subtle body is, you can think of it as a parallel body with our physical body, and it is that part of us which takes care of a lot of our functionality and our inner intelligence and healing and so many things. But of course, most people don't know about this or don't realize that there is such a body. But the moment you accept this with an open mind, suddenly it opens up a whole new area for you to explore. And chakras belong to the subtle body. And according to Tattva Bodha, this body consists of 17 items, 5 senses, 5 organs of action, 5 pranas called Pancha Pranas, and the mind and intellect. Now, to demonstrate a function of this body, this subtle body, I want to do a little experiment with all of you. So just watch what I'm doing and just try to repeat after me this experiment, okay? So I want you to just keep your hands in front of you like this. And don't look at your hands, you're looking straight ahead. But can you not feel the position of your hands without even looking at it just now? For example, you know that your fingers are pointing up, your thumb is pointing to the sides, you know the position of your upper and lower arm, almost the angle at which your elbow is bent, even without looking at it. Yes? Don't you feel that without even looking? Now, just take your hand to any position you feel like. I'm just like a dancer, an Indian dancer moves their hand. Move it to any position you feel like. And if you want, you can even close your eyes, and you will notice that wherever you take your hands, internally you are able to feel where it is pointing and where the fingers are pointing. Even if the finger is bent a little bit, you can make out where it is. Yes? Does everybody agree that you can feel that? Now, we take this for granted, but this is like a miracle if you really think about it. It basically tells you that every part of your body, including this tip of the finger, the middle of the finger, this part of the finger, the end of the finger, the wrist, every part has a GPS system installed in it. Just think about that. The amount of measurement, we don't actually measure anything, but just by closing our eyes, we know everything about our body, the position of the body, is known completely to us, not just the hand. We did the experiment with the hand, but we know this for the whole body. That's quite amazing that the body has a GPS system installed everywhere, from the head to the toe. Right now, if you just, without looking at yourself, you know in what position you're sitting and where your legs are also, correct? Your leg may have gone under the chair, or it may be in the front. You just know it even without looking. So this knowledge, where is it coming from? If you read something about this, there is a term for this, and it is called proprioception. Okay. Okay, Vineet, if you have taken over the screen, I'm not able to go forward on this PowerPoint.
Rajanji,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I think there was a problem with your PowerPoint. It was kind of frozen on the first slide.
Oh, I see.
So I'm happy to run the PowerPoint for you if you could just let me know when you want to change
Okay.
slides.
Yeah, you can go to the next page.
Okay.
I think there's one before this. Yeah, this one. Yes. So there is an actual term for what I was describing. I mean, the ability to know the position of your body. It is called proprioception. You can look up this term. It's a beautiful term. There is a neuroscientist by the name of Antonio Damasio who gives talks about these faculties that we have in us to sense proprioception. Now, if you go a little deeper and think about something like a tennis player, a top tennis player who is playing a game of tennis, and at the last minute, he's able to flick his wrist and place the ball in a cross-court winner. That is the greatest example of proprioception. Just think about it. The amount of expertise and precision that is needed to hit that kind of a tennis shot. We have this ability in us. And yoga tells us that this ability comes from the subtle body. There is nothing in the physical body, although you'll see descriptions about proprioception, that how it works in the body. But if you read it, you yourself will feel that it is not sufficient to explain the amount of expertise available in this sense that we have. There is another sense called interoception, which is once again a fantastic faculty that we have. You go to the doctor and the doctor says, how do you feel? You say, I feel good, except there is a little pain in my toe. In one instant, you know the whole thing about your body. You don't go one by one, each part of the body. In one instant, you know whether you feel good or don't feel good. You have a pain in the toe, you have a little ache in the stomach. You know this instantaneously. This is like a beautiful faculty that we have, and we take it for granted, but this also is coming from the subtle body. And since we don't understand the subtle body, that's why we don't understand that how the subtle body is able to achieve such a complex activity so easily. So now I want to move on to chakras. And I told you, I want to try to explain chakras not from an epistemological point of view, trying to describe, a wheel of energy and all those things. I want to take it from a point of view of functionality. It's a different way of trying to understand the functions of the chakras. And all of you probably know that there are 7 chakras. I don't want to go into all of them and their locations, but basically Mooladhara, Swadisthana, and Manipura chakras, they are at the lower part of the body, navel and below. And the higher chakras, so-called higher chakras, are Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agya, and Sahasrara. These are located heart and above. And let me try to connect these with our functionalities. So most people in the world, what are they busy with? Most people are busy with mundane pursuits. What are mundane pursuits? Which are like earning a living, enjoying pleasures, bringing up your family, procreation is the word for that, and protecting our species, ensuring that our children are protected and they are taken care of. There's nothing wrong with that, but those are the mundane pursuits of most people. And what does it consist of? It consists of eating good food and enjoying pleasures, procreating, and keeping our species running. If you notice that all the organs that handle these activities are all located at the navel and below, which are basically our digestive organs, the organs of pleasure, and the organs of reproduction. They are all located in the lower part of the body. These are the chakras of mundane pursuits. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, if you have heard about him, the late Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say that we should all try to move from a life based on ambition to a life of meaning. So another way to look at mundane pursuits is a life based purely on ambition, that my ambition in life is what? Is to succeed or to bring up children and so on. And the higher ones, what are they? I'll mention that. The Anahata Chakra, starting with Anahata Chakra, which is the heart chakra. Anahata means the unstruck sound. That means you think of a bell that is producing a sound, but it was never struck. It has always been making that sound. And Anahata is the location of the heart, is the greatest expression of love, or bhakti comes from the heart. The word heart is used a lot in poetry, for example, and from the heart. I love you from the heart. This is how these terms have come. Is Anahata Chakra represents the highest form of love. And awakening of this chakra brings compassion for the world. So if you think of people like Martin Luther King Jr., Mahatma Gandhi, and all these people, or Mother Teresa, they have definitely an awakened Anahata Chakra. And they are not stuck in ambition-based life. They are not worried about their ambitions. They are more worried about how to help other people. And Vishuddhi Chakra is like a transitional chakra. Agya Chakra is, as you know, the located between the eyebrows, a little inside the head, and it is also called the third eye of Shiva. And that's why Shiva is also known by the name of Trayambakam, or the three-eyed one. That represents a higher intellect, a higher level of intellect. We generally use a very small portion of our intellect. Agya Chakra represents a higher intellect, but not an intellect to solve mathematical problems and physics problems, but a different type of intellect, an awakened intellect, the type of intellect that a prophet or a realized saint has, a kind of ability to accept anything that comes to them in life, an intellect that allows one to do that. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a term for this, Sthita Prajna, or a man of steady wisdom. Sthita means steady, Prajna means wisdom. A man of steady wisdom is one whose wisdom continues after the meditation. During the meditation, there is wisdom always, but does it continue after the meditation ends? And that is a Sthita Prajna, one who continues the wisdom into their day-to-day activities and interactions and relationships. So next slide, please. So this is the functional part of the chakra. And the Mandukya Upanishad talks about how to awaken these chakras indirectly. It doesn't mention the chakras directly, but that is the yogic viewpoint. Yoga and Tantra's viewpoint is that the chakras get awakened when different things happen. Mandukya Upanishad, the last verse of Mandukya Upanishad, which is basically talks about Om chanting. This Upanishad is devoted to the chanting of Om. It's an exclusive Upanishad for this. Has a big connection with awakening these two chakras, Anahata and Agya chakras. And I just mentioned the first line of this last verse, and I will read it from the book directly. Amatras chaturtho vyavaharya prapancho pashamaha. What this is trying to explain is that Chaturtho is the fourth state. It is talking about what is called the fourth state or the Turiya state. So, A-U-Ma, the Om consists of three syllables, A-U and Ma, and they represent the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep states. And the silence between the two Om chantings. So when one Om stops and the next one is going to start, there is a silence. That is called Turiya state, and that's what is called here Chaturtho here. And that's the meaning of that part, that space between the two Oms is described as the English translation I've written there, that which has no parts, the soundless, the incomprehensible, beyond all the senses, the cessation of all phenomena, all blissful and non-dual Om is the fourth and verily the same as Atman. He who knows this merges his self in the Supreme Self, the individual in the total. So this Om chanting is known to produce this because when you do the O part, you can feel the vibration here. When you do O, you can just try it. Oh, if you do this, you can feel the vibration here. And when you do you can feel the vibration in the Agya chakra. And if you know, probably Isha Foundation, if any of you have attended, they teach this a lot, this O, A, U, and Ma chanting to awaken the chakras. And I have an article in the Wellness Universe with the audio. I have put the reference at the end in which I have described how to do Om chanting meditation. Extremely powerful meditation. And I told you, from the scientific point of view, you have to try this for yourself if you want to believe, if you want to see its effects. But repeated Om chanting is extremely powerful. Next slide, please. Okay, so the question is, are chakras real or everything is just nerves, Golgi, neurons, and receptors? If you see the explanation of certain things that we have, like proprioception, there is a lot of literature on this, which describes how the limbs are able to detect their positions and so on. But you read it for yourself and see if you're convinced that such a complex mechanism is possible just with physical structures, or you need something else. But what yoga tells us is that chakras are not part of the physical body, they are part of the subtle body. And recently you must have heard this very exciting field called the hard problem of consciousness, introduced by a scientist from Australia, David Chalmers. It's an extremely hot field now, in which they try to explain that there is an easy problem of consciousness and a hard problem of consciousness. And the hard problem is described in many ways by many people. I will just give one example. If you have a driverless car and it drives through the highway and reaches the destination, did that car enjoy the ride? It probably didn't. It just went mechanically. Well, when you go on a drive, you enjoy the ride. And you not only enjoy it, you have a full experience. And you remember so many things. And you may come and write a poetry about something that you saw on the way. So that's called the hard problem of consciousness. So our consciousness is not just a mechanical consciousness. There is something, there is a whole experience associated with it. If you go to Alaska and come back, you don't just visit Alaska and come back. You have a whole experience associated with that. And we have things like poetry and all these things, which are creative things. And I just have put one bullet here, and that since that's not the topic, I don't want to really talk about hard problem of consciousness, but I would definitely advise you to go and read about this. It's a very fantastic field. Next slide, please. Okay. I would like to conclude before doing the chakra meditation. I told you I'm going to do the Swadisthana Chakra meditation today. I will just explain what's the advantage of that. Carlos Castaneda is a great writer. I don't know if you all have read his books. He said the world around us is very mysterious. It doesn't yield its secrets easily. And that is true. That is by design. According to our Shastras, the Hindu Shastras, the Shakti, the power of Shakti or the power of creation wants to keep you in the creation. Its job is to keep you in the creation. Therefore, all the great spiritual things are secrets. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam. He calls it the royal secret. All these are secrets because Prakriti, or the divine female power, wants to keep everybody in the creation, doesn't want them to go away from the creation. So everything is a secret that is to be discovered. Chakras are definitely a great secret. But with an open mind, if we explore, you don't have to believe anything without exploring them yourself. And it is not enough just to go for chakra meditation. You need to adopt the whole yogic holistic system. Yoga is a holistic system. It starts from yama, niyamas, asana, pranayama, everything. So you have to take the whole 8-limbed system and practice it really, because they all are complementary to each other. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, that's the references. But now I think it's time to just experience a little meditation. And after that, I'll open it up for questions. So I just want to mention about Swadhisthana Chakra, which is the second chakra from the bottom. The first chakra is the Mooladhara Chakra, which is supposed to be at the end of the bottom of the spine. Around 2 inches above that is Swadhisthana Chakra. Swadhisthana literally means my own place or your own place. And you must have heard the term gut feeling. Gut feeling, where does this term come from? That I have this gut feeling that, this meeting is not going to go well or something like that. Gut feeling, our emotions are supposedly, they arise from the pit of the stomach. And the Zen Buddhists also do a lot of meditation on Manipura Chakra and Swadhisthana Chakra because they believe that human behavior is controlled a lot from here. So people who have anxieties, fears, which are a little exaggerated, for example, or for no reason, there are many people who have anxieties and fears for no reason. Swadhisthana Chakra meditation is extremely powerful. And you have to really practice this to see how effective it is. It's a very simple solution, but it's extremely effective. And the crux of the Vedantic system is that when you observe something as a witness, as the pure witness. And Eckhart Tolle, the famous author of Power of Now, he says looking instead of analyzing, just looking at something in a very passive way has the effect of cleansing it and introducing what we call sattvic quality into it. So our chakras are basically impure in the sense that they are become impure due to our whatever. We have a lot of impurities in our system, which are results of vasana, samskaras, and our behavior patterns, conditioning, and so on. The look of our witness, or what we call chaitanya, or the pure consciousness, when it just looks at something without doing anything, it tends to purify that. And just watching the Swadhisthana Chakra, and we being of a nature where we want some kind of interaction with that, we can also practice a small massage on it. And during this meditation, I will ask you to do a little massage of that. So when we reach that chakra, you do a little massage clockwise and a massage anti-clockwise so that we can get the attention focused there. Because when we try to do something to that place, we get our focus into that. That is just a mechanism to get the focus there. And then after that, you just sit and watch your Swadhisthana Chakra. So the first thing we have to do is to locate the Swadhisthana Chakra. And to locate it, it is approximately about 3 to 5 inches below the navel and about 2 inches above the base of the spine. And just close your eyes and listen to the instructions. Just settle down. And we will quickly go through all the chakras and reach our goal, which is the Swadhisthana Chakra. Starting with top of the head. In the middle of the top of your head is Sahasrara Chakra. Just linger there for a few seconds. Sliding down the front of your head, reach the forehead and go down on the forehead to the space between the eyebrows. This is the location of Agya Chakra, also known as the third eye of Shiva. Just linger there. Go down the bridge of the nose to the upper lip, lower jaw. Go down the jaw to the throat. In the bulging part of the throat, that is called the Adam's apple. Behind that is the Vishuddhi Chakra. Just linger there for a few seconds. Going down your neck through the middle of the chest. No hurry, very slowly. Go down to the region of your heart. It's the location of Anahata Chakra. From here, you go down and reach your navel. Your navel was the connection to your mother. This is the location of the beautiful Manipura Chakra. And from here, we go down. 3 to 5 inches, depending on the person. Just go below all your abdominal organs. And there's a triangular portion called the sacral region where the two pelvic bones come and meet. Just a little above that, go into your body there. We are heading to our final goal, which is Swadisthana Chakra. Go into the body, towards the spine. This is the pit of your stomach, the lowest part, just above the reproductive organs. In that small triangle there, go inside. Doesn't matter if you don't precisely reach there. It's like a pit, a small space is there. Go into that. Just feel this region, mentally feel it. This is called your own place. This is where our behavior patterns, our uncontrolled emotions, this is where they are created. Let's do the little massage here. Just imagine you're setting up a little clockwise rotation around this region, like a whirlpool going round and round. I'll count 10 and we make 10 rounds here. An internal massage for this region. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now an anti-clockwise rotation. 1, 2, try to visualize it as well as you can. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now with complete attention, as if this is the only thing that exists, pay total attention to this region of your body, as if you're peering into the darkness. Just be the witness to this part. Your Chaitanya, which is the pure consciousness, when it touches something, it completely purifies it. Your Chaitanya is that part of you which is pure and untainted and fearless and absolutely free of all problems. It is the divine nature of yours. The Mahavakyas Tattvamasi, thou art that, is referring to this Chaitanya, which is just now looking at the Swadhisthana Chakra, just as a witness. Just this looking is enough to purify anything. With complete attention, remain focused on this chakra for the next 1 or 2 minutes. Om Tat Sat. You can slowly open your eyes. Hope you enjoyed that meditation. It's a good thing to practice on a regular basis. And if you know somebody who has anxieties and fears, not just because of COVID in general, this is a beautiful practice to do. Really helps to get rid of that gut feeling, because everything rises from here. Even when you hear some bad news, if you pay attention, you'll see that the first thing you get is like something in the stomach, like a stomach upset kind of thing happens first. So this is a region where a lot of things are generated. And you must have heard about the vagus nerve, which is one of the reasons, for this, why it happens also. But I don't want to get into that topic. With that, my talk has ended, and I would like to open it up. If there are any questions or anything, any comments, you're welcome. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Rajanji. So just looking at the chat box here, and I notice we do have a question. So one of our dear community members and friends is asking, sadly, she said she had uterine cancer in November and got surgery done, and is now in the midst of chemo and radiation. And so we send our healing thoughts and prayers out to her. And she wants to know if this chakra meditation can help in some way. So perhaps you can speak to this, and then more generally, how chakra meditations can relate to healing and therapeutic processes for various ailments and different things in the body.
Okay, as I had mentioned during the talk, yoga is a system which is a holistic system. So chakra meditation definitely helps, but I think the asana, pranayama are more important for things like these kind of problems, physical problems, and meditation also helps. But we should not pick one thing and practice only that. But this talk was only about chakras, so I mentioned only chakras. But my advice is to open up to the whole system, because we are a very complex entity. Let's remember that we are not built in a simple way. We have bones, ligaments, pranas, too many things, and we need to do everything to really benefit, to get so my advice to her would be, to join a good yoga class, a simple yoga class, if she cannot do too much of postures and all that, and keep good hope in the mind. That's very important, not to give up. And that is where the chakra meditation helps, is to get rid of the anxiety part of it, which generally is very negative for the body. Any negative emotions, and in the references, I have mentioned this beautiful book called Molecules of Emotion. This is one of the best books to read. It is written by a professor of neuroscientist, Candace Pert, shows that how when we get angry, our molecules also get angry. And molecules getting angry means they develop ionic bonds and result in oxidation process. That's why antioxidants are popular because of that. And it's beautifully explained in this book with a lot of research. So chakra meditation would help from that point of view. I hope that helped.
Thank you. So just a couple of, I see quite a few questions coming now in the chat box. Would you mind speaking briefly to the origin and idea behind Bija mantras?
Okay. I'm not too much of an authority on that. It is said that every chakra is resonating with a particular mantra, and chanting that mantra, even mentally chanting that mantra, brings a kind of resonance. If you have studied in physics, a resonant activity. A resonant activity is something like if there is a pendulum moving like this, to make it go higher, you need to push it with the resonance. So when it comes here and goes, you give it one more push and it becomes like a swing. When you swing on a swing, for example, you do a resonant motion. So the swing goes higher and higher. So when you do the same bija mantra as the chakra, then you create a kind of resonance in the chakra, which activates it. That is the best I understand about this. And go very deep into it and understand why the bija mantra is there, why that particular mantra is there. I'm not an authority on that. Maybe M.G. Prasad, who passed away recently, would have been a great authority on this, but unfortunately, he's not there with us anymore.
More generally, a bit on the same theme. And if folks wouldn't mind just making sure you're muted out, I hear a little bit of disturbance. So on the same themes, we have a participant asking, what about chanting mantras that we don't understand? Is it still helpful to chant the mantra even without knowing the meaning?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Believe me, even we don't understand some of the mantras that we chant because Sanskrit is not that easy to understand. Sanskrit is known to be a language of sound. And it is said that the universe got created through sound. What exactly that sound means, we don't know, but there is a big connection between sound and the sound of the mantra itself rather than the meaning. In fact, there are many mantras in Vedas which don't have any meaning. They're just like Hreem, Hroom, Hram. You must have heard those famous mantras which some of our priests also chant. They don't have any meaning, but they create some kind of vibration in the body. And the Om is an example. I told you, Om is one of the greatest things to chant on a regular basis for creating spiritual growth and raising of the awareness to the higher chakras. So there are mantras which have meaning, and there are a category of mantras which are just pure sound. And it's a very high level of knowledge which I don't claim to have knowledge of, but there is a basic component of trust in the Hindu system where you trust what the guru teaches. A realized master, when they teach something, there's an amount of faith in it, and we practice that.
Thank you. So some more questions. Would you please share the source of this particular meditation that you led? Is there a particular source that you received this from, this particular process of meditation? And a second question in conjunction to that, do you ever include the Muladhara Chakra as part of that meditation? Because in this particular meditation, you didn't explicitly reference the Muladhara Chakra.
Yes, yeah, I didn't reference the Muladhara Chakra because it is known that the emotions arise from the gut region. So the Swadisthana and Manipura, these both are used a lot for taking care of emotions. That's how it has been taught from my teacher and other colleagues of my teacher also. So that I'm just following that. So the Muladhara Chakra has other purposes, and I'm not an authority on all the chakras, but for this particular thing, emotions definitely helps to focus on the abdominal region, abdominal and below regions. And as I told you, the Zen people do this a lot also. And you can read some of their Zen Buddhist interpretations of these also. There are books on that.
A question on the best time of day to practice chakra meditation. Is there a particular time of day that's recommended or that you've experienced?
Okay, the standard answer for that is Brahma Muhurta, what we call is the time of dawn is supposed to be the best, and the time of dusk is also supposed to be good, but dawn is even better. Pratasmarami hridi samspuradatmatattvam, Shankaracharya wrote, Pratasmarami hridi, early morning hours. There is some kind of sanctity in that time of the day when everybody has been silent for a long time, and there's a kind of quietness in the air, which is not just the physical silence. There is a deeper level of silence available in the morning. So that's supposed to be the Brahma Muhurta, or the greatest time to practice anything, any aspect of yoga for that matter, not just.
Yeah, thank you. So you spoke of yoga and meditation as being part of a holistic system or holistic program. And so perhaps this question is more in light of that holistic system. So in your knowledge or your experience, is there um, is a vegetarian diet tied into this holistic system? And if so, is there a kind of a scientific reason for it? The question is also asking, particularly in this era of COVID-19, do you advise a vegetarian diet?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. A vegetarian diet is highly recommended. One thing is, one of the yamas of yoga, the yamas are the moral principles. One of them is ahimsa. As you know, Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi used to talk about it, non-violence. Uh, Killing of animals arises straight out of non-violence, because animals have nervous systems and they can feel pain. So and basically the law of Confucius applies, that do unto others what you want others to do unto you. So we don't want to get hurt, so we should not be hurting anybody else. That is the principle of vegetarianism. The second thing is, this is also talked about in scientific way, that we don't have the cutting teeth that carnivores have, which is an indication that we are not meant for biting meat. So that is another indication of that. But that's a choice an individual makes. But all yoga teachers will teach us not to eat meat. That is the approach of yoga.
Thank you. I want to keep an eye on the time, so I know that we are pretty much at time. I'll ask one final question from the chat box, and I apologize if we didn't get to your particular question. The final question I'll ask is, you led us in a guided meditation. Um, at what point does one need guided meditation, and can one continue to practice without guidance, just sort of unguided meditation? Are there consequences to that?
Yeah, so you could record the same thing in your own voice and play it back with headphones. But remember that ultimately you have to reach a place of silence, because silence is the greatest teacher. So anything that is guided is just taking you to the edge of the Grand Canyon. It is like getting the directions to the edge of the Grand Canyon. After that, you have to jump yourself. There's no guidance after that. So any meditation that is noisy and non-stop talking is not meditation. It has to end in silence. So you could just record it yourself in your voice and play it back, and let the tape stop. And then you're in a state where you're in a different state now, where you're receiving the the power of silence, or Sadguru, what is called your inner guru, becomes active to heal you and to improve you in all ways. And this connection with the higher intelligence, we have to understand this as a concept, is it is something that guides you in all your decisions once you regularly establish contact with it. It guides you in all spheres of life in a silent way. You have to understand the concept of meditation from this point of view, not as something physical. It is more like connecting with something higher, which we generally are disconnected from. And that's what the word yoga means. Yoga means union. So uniting with something which is out there, but we are never connected with it. So it has to end in silence. And you can record your own script. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We so much appreciate this exploration, and in a sense, I think you're whetting our appetite. So hopefully we can go a little bit deeper into it in the future as well. But just on behalf of the Hindu Life Program and Princeton University, we're so grateful for you to share of your time and of your wisdom this evening. Thank you all for joining us. Please, if you are not regularly receiving emails from the Hindu Life Program, please do drop us a line. I'm going to include my email address in the chat box. So please jot that down and send me an email. If you're not receiving emails already from the Hindu Life Program, we'd love to keep in touch with you. Again, thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening and a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.